time.
Yeah, absolutely. I still think Tiny's more busted than Coddle Storm, in my personal opinion, Jonathan, but I guess my opinion doesn't matter. It's all about the teams and how they played this one out. Of course, you did go over the fact that RSG came from Div 2, undefeated in terms of series. On the other hand, the Apes, who are now called Patriots, they were, relegated out of Div 2, Jonathan. So you talked about favorites, RSG going into this. They should be the heavy favorites based on history. So we'll see how they can do. I mean, at the very least, like you said, RSG haven't looked the smoothest so far during the groups, but this is a team that they've played against already in DPC. Statistic-wise, they are better as a team on RSG's end, but anything can happen. Patriots, they've had a long time to try and practice up, try to get up to scratch, and it seems like they're, at least for the draft-wise, they're within meta right now with Coddle Storm. See where they head off with their drafts, though, and if they can put up a real good fight against RSG. As we do go into our third pickup. Maybe just a POS 4 to come out. Maybe a POS 5, depending on where they want the Coddle. Doesn't really matter as long as the Coddle's behind Storm, giving him mana. You're always happy.
Yeah, I think you're just looking for strong combinations now in the off lane to play with Coddle. If you will want to run it as a 4, you could opt to take something like Sand King Tiny Lane. We've seen multiple times. Not the worst for Sand King. Definitely playable. And that spam ability for your spells for the Sand King does improve that lane by a ton. So we'll see if that's something Patriots will want to pick up for themselves on the off lane. But as you mentioned, they could just go for the supports as well. And they will go for the Ogre Magi. So that is our Ogre Magi 5. And that could enable a big right-click core now to counteract the Tiny, right? Like, you just want a big ranged core. You'd have the option for Drow, TB. Dusa has not been banned for some apparent reason as well. So you could just go Dusa. Is it? I can't see too well, Mike. Let me know.
Is it Dusa being banned? No, Dusa is not banned, sir.
All right, so you can just take the Dusa with the Ogre Magi, outrange the Tiny, get a nice buff on hand, and RSG recognize that. They get the Nyx to deal with a Storm. Lots of ways of blocking them off with Spite Carapace. Doesn't feel great for Storm in that mat down the line with Nyx scurrying around. And you have a good mana burn to deal with Adusa as well. So to kind of cover both bases here in RSG, like that pick for them coming out. Of course, the issue with Nyx is in the laning phase, it doesn't feel the best. And now you're potentially running a Mars and Nyx dual lane, which is punishable. It's fairly slow. It's dual melee. Never mind, it looks like you're running the Nyx on 5 and holding the Hoodwink 4. So Mars Hoodwink's still strong. Nyx Tiny, not as much, but I guess you do have relatively good stunts to play with. Avalanche, Impale is pretty nice. But again, you're already potentially facing off on Patriots end with a Coddle combination. Sand King still in the pool. So you will have to deal with that. Spike Carapace is still great against Coddle, but you don't tend to feel that impact until you invest in the levels for that stun. So
right,
not going to be a priority in that laning phase.
Certainly not. I think the thing is, with Nyx, I think it's a fine POS 5 though, right? Like, you just need XP. You don't really need gold on this hero. He'll be alright. Just give him that level 6, get him a few more levels for Spike Carapace. He'll be fine. Patriots, what do they want to follow up with? They still need 2 cores. They'll go for the DK first. Of course, the Medusa you talked about is still available, but like you mentioned, the counter in the Nyx Assassin is there, and I still think the Dusa might just work anyway, if it is left. Like, it is still Dusa versus Tiny. Even Dusa versus Mars in the laning matchup can be quite nice for them. So you might just kind of have to tank through it. If Medusa is left in this last ban phase, you might just want to take it anyway. Just try to get through the mana burn of the Nyx. Just a matter of whether RSG are actually going to allow it all the way through. Any kind of Ive Skadi carrier against Tiny always going to be very, very nice. RSG, surely you ban it. Like, even if you have the counter, surely you just want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think it's just a very stable pick for Patriots at RSG. You probably don't want to run that risk. Because, again, in very edge scenarios, Medusa still has a lot of ways of playing around here. Your hold from RSG, it's not the jumpiest. So gap closing onto Medusa outside of Vendetta does feel a bit challenging. Lots of pressure in Xiao Yu to perform on his Mars. And they are taking their time that last ban. Even if Medusa's banned, Drow is an option. TB is a very strong option as well. Doesn't feel too bad. I mean, I guess pre-itemization... pre-itemization, the TB does feel a bit rough. You don't have the best HP to deal with, say, the Nyx hunting you down, the Hoodwink getting a sharpshooter off. But once you do have the Manta Scotty, TB feels pretty durable there. You can work towards a BKB as well. So again, still a lot of options left to handle the Tiny. And RSG is gonna have to pick their poison. Maybe they just feel like Deuce is fine, so they take care of the TB or the Drow first. Considering that lack of jump, wouldn't mind that kind of ban as well. But they're holding on to it for a little bit here, Mike.
Yeah, again, I feel like Deuce is just the obvious ban. You've got Kotal right behind the Deucer as well. Like, it's not like you can't just Chakra Magic the Deucer. You know, give her the mana back that she got mana burned. No, they'll get rid of TB instead. So they are leaving the Medusa. I guess just trust the Nyx to be able to deal with her. You do have very high base armor on the Tiny to just kind of try to burst it. Like, we've seen Avalanche toss with the Echo Saber double swing on a Tiny. And that just removes all her mana anyway, I guess. So maybe the idea is, hey, we've got enough damage. We can deal with the Medusa. It's no problem. We also know RSG, they love running that offlane Mars. So you might just be able to just deny all the creeps away anyway against the Medusa during the laning stage. Though I dare say it's not that easy, but maybe.
I don't think the Mars matchup is that good for Mars. Actually, the Deuce matchup for Mars isn't great. Like, we see Deuce win that out just because Mystic Snake is way too strong. So it's a melee matchup for Deuce. It favors her. She can just Mystic Snake the creep wave. And if she angles it right, you tend to get most of the creeps anyway. Just build up. So could be oppressive from there, but I agree with your point in the Tiny. Mana doesn't feel like an issue. Maybe by the point where Deuce gets Scotty Manta +1 item, it does feel a little bit harder. And as mentioned before as well, like, Kotl is there to enable Mystic Snake spam. So we'll see if that is what Patriots go for. Drow's another option. Tiny could be a spicy... I'm not Tiny. Sniper could be a spicy option, but it doesn't have the same impact as a Drow early on, you know, or as a Dusa. And RSG do cover their backline, or at least a way to jump that backline now with the Ember. So they take that Ember mid for Exilern. We've seen him perform that multiple times before. And now for Patriots, it's just about making that choice for their safe lane. Like, what do they want here for Jacroy? Do you want that Dusa? Do you want the Drow? Do you want something else entirely? And those are the only two big cores really left to deal with a Tiny here.
Well, have a think about it. You do have some nice Spirit Vessel carries as well, like the Hoodwink or Nyx can build into Spirit Vessel against Medusa, and that tends to do a lot of work. The percentage-based damage obviously going to just burn through the mana of the Dusa. Instead, they're going to go down the CK route. So it turns out they never wanted the Dusa anyway. We have seen Chaos Knight perform very well against Tiny. So I think it's not a bad pick, because you could really just burst heroes down so easily with that Reality Rift. Again, I think RSG are probably looking to be the heavy favorites moving into this series, to be fair. But I do like the draft that Patriots has gone for. I don't think it's too bad. You might run into some mana issues later on if the mana burn does become a bit of a nuisance with the Nyx Assassins. You know, DK, low mana pool, CK the same. But again, you've got Keeper of the Light right behind them. Doesn't really matter too much. You tell me, John, what draft came out better in your eyes? I shouldn't say eyes, considering they're not working right now. But in your mind, Jonathan,
what draft? RSG does have the tighter draft, I think, overall, but I wouldn't give them a huge draft advantage. It is a bit dicey for Patriots. You know, Storm into Nyx doesn't feel great. Keeper of the Light into Nyx doesn't feel great. But Chaos Knight is a very big hero, and it is a Jacroy special. He does love playing that hero, of course. So did the lull on the offlane. So just something that Patriots is very comfy with. And I think just considering how well a CK can go off with some very, very early farm, I think RSG has to be ready for that faster pace. So I'd say rather even in draft, I'd slightly favor RSG, but not by much. I think Patriots still has a lot to play for, as long as you don't get caught out by Nyx on a Storm. If you can manage that, then you should have enough room to kind of handle this game on Patriots' end as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Mind you, I don't know how great of a player Mamangdaya is on the Storm. I mean, you know, the one hero we all know him for is the mid conker. That's where he really starts to shine. See how he does in this mid Storm, though, as we do go into game number 1 here.
You're doing him dirty. He used to play quite a fair bit of Storm as well. You know, he loves his Spirit Brothers, right? From his time in AG. You know,
John.
don't need to throw our boy Mamangdaya under the bus.
Look, I'm not saying he didn't play Storm, John. I'm just saying it wasn't that memorable. That's all
I'm telling you, though, everyone can play Storm. Storm is the hero of everyone. Why triple null, double null? A baby could play Dota 2 right now and start in Storm and do fine.
I guess you did say earlier you actually won with a mid Storm, which again is just
exactly
unfathomable.
Exactly. I couldn't believe it either, Mike. I couldn't believe it. We were behind, and what do? Hit level 25, zip around. I can reach half the map and TP home. They couldn't siege. Voila. Magic of Storm, baby.
Jeez, I wish I was there to do a winners interview for you, John. I wonder what you did to celebrate.
Nothing, Mike. I just checked my smartwatch, looked at my stress meter.
Well, you got a
Told me I was
smartwatch?
very stressed. I just bought a smartwatch. Yes, I did.
What?
Just for fun. Yeah, I bought one. I was like, all right, this could be useful. It tells me I'm
Wow.
stressed every time I'm playing Dota 2. Every time.
Oh, good to see they're accurate then. Very, very good. There you go, johnxfire moving up in the world. Now has a smartwatch. Very, very good. We'll start off with the bot lane, Jonathan. We'll see if your smartwatch can assist you with some analysis here. Jacroy going to be on the CK. UK going to be on the Ogre. You're going to have Roger and Xiao Yu against them. Talk to me about this lane, John. Like, we've seen Xiao Yu play this Mars so many times, and he tends to perform at a great level pretty much every single time. But the CK is a pretty strong hero right now, and the Ogre behind it going to make it much easier to set up, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a rather even lane. Both sides have a lot of aggression that can come out. It might be a bit tougher for the Patriots to really lock in their aggression. Double melee up against the Hoodwink can make it a bit easier here for Roger to, look for those bushwhacks, line up the shots, and stop that aggression coming through from Patriots. But the level 3 spike of Patriots is still massive, though.
Yeah,
We're seeing
UK.
that already, UK.
Yeah, he's okay. It's a lot of damage, though.
You could say he is UK.
Oh,
Does manage to... You
terrible,
gave it to me,
John.
Mike. I would say UK, he's okay. So. Right in his name, Mike. But yeah, level 2, level 3 does feel a lot better for Patriots once you have that value point in Chaos Strike. You can't underestimate that damage with a minus armor from Reality Rift. You can rip through that Hoodwink if she's not careful.
yeah. We'll have a look at the other lanes as well while we have a chance. Of course, mid lane, Mamangdaya and XC Learn going to be going at it. XC Learn, like you said, John, pretty bit of a specialist when it comes to the Ember Spirit. Mamangdaya, again, dare say he's not a specialist on the Storm, but he can still run the hero very nicely. As you mentioned, the item build's not too complicated right now for the Storm. You're basically just pressing R the whole game. But how do you feel about the matchup, though, between the Ember and the Storm Spirit?
Goes either way, it's rather even. I used to give Ember a slight edge because of the buildup of Orb Corrosion, but Storm with double null also doesn't need much, so it doesn't really amount for much. I'd say Storm has a better time in terms of being aggressive. Exelern has to be very proactive with Sleight of Fist, dodge out any attempts to get Overload and the Vortex and Remnants on top, but he's been doing a great job doing that. So as long as he maintains that pressure, drawing an even farm lane is pretty good. I don't expect a massive lead from either side, although if Exelern hits level 5 a bit quicker, it can be a bit dicey for Mamangdaya. The right clicks do start to add up.
The top lane, of course, final lane. Xiao Bon going to be there on the Nyx Assassin. He's supporting MKS on the Tiny, and of course they're against the LoL on that offlane DK and LYM on that pos 4 Coddle. Guess not really too much going to happen here as you are against DK. Chances are the LoL's not going to die, no matter how much they try to dive him. See with the Impel there, they don't even bother trying. They just want the creeps. But it does seem like MKS on the other hand, John, he's probably going to be able to get quite a bit of farm himself. Don't see the Dragon Knight being able to slow him down too much either.
Yeah, I mean, Breed Fire is really good against a Tiny, because percent-based damage reduction that takes the added bonus damage as well, but you don't tend to go for it in laning. So, should be still a clear time for MKS. You're seeing some issues for LYM and just trying to illuminate out. He does know that the Nyx is there. Spike Carapace is already up, so you don't get to do as much harassment as you'd want. The big benefit here for Patriots is that they can start to build stacks under Triangle, and I think that's what we need to see from LOM. Just set up the condition for your CK, for your Storm to have some Flash Farm on hand, except that with a DK, your combination can be good. You can Dragon Tail and Illuminate, but the Nyx cancels that off, so you just play more passive lane, focus on farm, get some stacks, and hope it gets running from there.
Still a very quiet game, no first blood being achieved yet. As I say that though, Water Runes did spawn up. It looks like Xiao Bonbon's gonna get caught out, though he could try to turn onto Mamangdaya. Static Remnant's doing quite a bit of work. Mamangdaya gonna be able to get the first blood with LYM. Sexy Learn, unable to really help out too much. Roger, though, gonna show up, but they want Mamangdaya. They know he's in that tree line somewhere. Roshan even gonna get involved with the Sleight of Fist. Be very well timed for XE Learn, trusting Roshan to not do too much damage. They do secure the Storm kill in the end.
A bit of an awkward movement out from Mamangdaya, not opting to go out, wanted to look for that opportunity to double back and try to kill off Exilern. Does get punished for it. They do manage to find Xiao Yu as well. So the skills are lining up for Patriots at the least, getting that extra start onto Jikroy. Power Tread's already up, Armlet next. Doesn't take too long for the CK to hit that mid-game spike. He is set for a pretty good time ramping up there. Again, you hit level 3, level 4 in the CK, you can just try to crit through, and with a Reality Rift minus armor is enough to find these early kills.
It's a hell of a lot of damage, that's certainly for sure. They might try to move in. Roger, he's got Bushwhack, will land it as well, but UK is going to come in and try and help out. In the meantime, MKS ends up going down top lane. They do end up getting the Tiny. And Jikroy ultimately will not go down bot lane either. A lot of damage being dealt, but he'll get salved up by UK, but a nice Bushwhack. Roger going to cancel the salve off early. And Jikroy, though, healthy enough to remain in the lane, and looks like he has been handed a tango by UK.
Yeah, and you can just right-click through, get a couple of crits off with some lifesteal, and you feel pretty good in the hero. So, not going to be held back too long, look at that. Just one crit, HP back to half at the very least. And Xiao Yu's going to have to work again to get that damage off. He is cutting the creep wave, cancels the TP of UK as well, so no relief onto that rotation here.
Whoa, what I miss?
Roger, being caught out, Mamangdaya. A lot of damage being dealt onto the Hoodwink. Bushwhack is actually going to lock down the Storm, but not going to amount to too much. Meanwhile, Jikroy trying to chase down Xiao Yu, and in the meantime, LYM going to end up going down to XE Learn. So they end up finding another kill here for the Ember. Currently 2-0-0. Mamangdaya yet to pick up his first kill on the Storm. Already seems to be setting up for a very solid game here for XE Learn.
Yep, having a great time, build up, Orb of Corrosion's already done, so the damage output of his Sleight of Fist is getting pretty damn high. But Mamangdaya does have triple null up here, might put a coddle. So it's that timing as well for the Storm. He can start showing up around and force these engagements out. Inside of RSG, still looking like they have a solid enough start, but the Patriots are starting to ramp up as well. I think the one thing you have to watch is leaving MKS alone. If Xiao Bonbon isn't in that lane, he is susceptible to dying from the lull and just a few illuminates from LYM as well. The side of RSG still hasn't found a stacks here either, Mike. So Mamangdaya still has some flash farm to get into here to rush into that BKB or the power treads. Again, just hitting those early item spikes for the Storm.
Xiao Bonbon's at least going to be able to soak a bit of XP here on the Nyx Assassin. Can't really, oh, maybe he could impale, but he's got no vision of the area. Eventually does come in, bit more XP soaked up, drains some mana from Mamangdaya, immediately refilled by LYM. And now Xiao Bonbon, going to be a little bit cautious. Does have Spike Carapace available if he does want to pop it, but has held onto it for now. Eventually does go for it. Oh, it's a bait. Mamangdaya, he's the one to go down. XE Learn. He'll take another kill onto the Storm as LYM. Probably not going to make it out. Sleight of Fist back up in a moment. That should be enough, and it will be. Double kill to go the way of the Ember, and while that's all happening, to make matters worse, Jikroy is going to drop down a bot. So 3 heroes going down for the price of 1 across the map. RSG starting to really spice up here in Game 1.
They're starting to play around their control and their conditions really well. They know they can build off of the strong start from the Ember, so they're starting to invest the resources to just hold mid, and Mamangdaya is not safe here if he's not careful.
Impel does land. Chains will not. Bushwhack. Oh, barely off the mark, Roger. Unable to land it this time, but had you got that Bushwhack, maybe you would have had a kill on your hands. Not this time, though, for Roger. Instead, they'll head down bot. UK might be there in time to scout this out, but no, he doesn't see him. So it's on to Jikroy again. On the CK, Zhao Yu looking for an arena spear. Does land it very nicely. Roger going to show up. We'll get the Bushwhack into the acorn shot. XC Learn trying to move in. Jikroy going to try and find a way out, but there's just no way. Against that sleight of fist maxed out here for XC Learn, they just can't. At least MLPDotA does clean up Zhao Bonbon in the mid lane, but that's about all he's going to get.
Yeah, so big set of kills for RSG. And that should allow them to apply some pressure on that bot tier 1 as well. They've already lost their top tier 1 here, though. So the Patriots do come out on top on the objective trade. And that should allow them to start contesting some of that farm MKS wants to build up. He is going for the Moonshard build here, Mike. So MKS going the new tiny build route. He just wants to keep the farm game up. Patriots should try to punish that. If they don't, Tiny is still going to be a massive issue. You do have good answers in your CK, but Jikroy has started to lag a bit behind here. And you can play with a Phantasm, but again, it's still not as quick as Tiny. Still maintaining a slight lead above, though, despite those stats. So Jikroy managing to find a better time out of the lane.
Well, UK's probably gone here. They'll earn him up. Zhao Yu hasn't got him yet. The LOL's going to oh, no.
Ooh, what?
They missed the spear anyway. UK's still running. In fact, they've got Roger. I almost wish I didn't say that, John. Everything just going wrong there for both sides.
Yeah, that's pretty awkward. The LOL knows he messed up a bit. UK says sword as well. Everyone just kind of missing a little bit, but it works out in the favor of the Patriots as they find that support kill and they prevent their bot tier 1 from falling. Do pop the dragon form here on the LOL. Maybe trying to siege a bit on that bot tier 1. RSG has enough time to respond. That is opening up the mid lane a bit, forcing out some movements here. Zhao Bonbon does have a 6 up lane.
Oh, another spear miss, Zhao Yu. At least does get the arena, but doesn't land the spear. Now the Bushwhack doesn't land either. They found UK on the side. Sharpshooter misses to boot. Everything just going the wrong way. MLPDotA at least going to find Zhao Yu. They're still trying to move in for a bit more. MLPDotA out of mana thanks to the mana boot of Zhao Bonbon, and now XC Learn may be able to clean up, but a nice chakra magic from LYM and a blinding light to push them back. They'll still land the chains on Delol, but they aren't going to be able to catch him. Boy, oh boy, this bot lane, it's just cursed, John. Nobody lands anything. XC Learn still going. Might find LYM very, very soon, but it looks like he's had enough. He'll remnant out. 7-7 now with a very slight net worth lead going the way of Patriots.
Yeah, they're committing a lot of resources from RSG to play bot, and they drag their Tiny in as well. So MKS isn't farming as much, and the Patriots aren't done.
Now Bonbon. Slam the Impale. Bushwhack will be there. He'll go for a run. Impale will keep him alive. Patriots able to secure that kill. MLPDotA, though, mid lane, being chased down. XC Learn doesn't have any remnants to throw out, or doesn't really have the mana for it, but he still reaches for the sleight of fist. Can he get out? Jikroy, he'll chase. XC Learn, he'll go for a TP play out, and Jikroy not going to have the stun. Chakra Magic just not there in time. MLPDotA having a very rough game. Already 3 deaths on the Storm, and well, John, I realize Storm isn't that hard to play right now, but it's so far not that great.
Not the greatest, but he is copying the ganks, I guess, for the team while still having presence in the rotations. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. You are buying space for Jikroy to build up on his CK. Armlet already up, going into the Echo Saber next. So you're starting to reach that point where the CK will hit pretty hard and should be able to handle Tiny if he does come in. And in comparison, MKS again, lagging a bit behind the CK. Not what you typically see from the Tiny. Does have 1 Hyperstone up, so just lacking the second for his full shard. For his full moon shard. Blink up on the lull though.
Lane, Zhao Yu still gets the arena down. Sharpshooter from Roger gonna land. This time they'll at least find the lull. So it's gonna be an offlane for an offlane trade. XC Learn, he looks like he still wants to go. Not gonna find anyone though. So 1 for 1 in the mid lane. You've still got Zhao Bonbon roaming around in that Vendetta. Gonna Gonna find a target he really wants to jump on though, and does need to be careful. There's just so many sentry wards around.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Just dragging a lot of heroes down mid, or teleporting Xiaoyu once again to top up Exilern's bottle. Exilern, for his part, already has the Javelin up, so again, Sleight of Fist starting to hit pretty damn hard here. But all that focus is meaning that Jikroy has a lot of space. You might be happy that your Tiny has the same space, which is a fair point, but you aren't at the point where MKS is overtaking you. You have to consider that the CK's early build-up will feel a lot more impactful. Like, Tiny with a Moonshard is strong, but he doesn't really have the damage to contest that. And Mamangaya, again, just finding these jumps.
No, Roger. It's one of the things about Hoodwink. Like, you don't really enjoy playing into Storm. It's very simple for the Storm to find you in that tree, in those tree lines, and there you go. You are going to hit that timing very soon, though, John, for MKS. Like, Moonshard plus Shards, and yeah, you still want a BKB, but you're ready to go. You know, if you can just get a few hits in on someone, they're probably going to die. It's mid lane. UK. All stuns out. Maybe Exilon's gone too far this time. They will punish. That's a big pick off for Mamangaya, who desperately needed the gold. Now Jabon even dropping here to Jikroy.
I think the Tiny timings are still strong, but you have to understand, you go for Moonshard in comparison to, say, Echo Saber and maybe it's Shadow Blade build-up. You do have good right-click damage, you don't have like quick burst. Right? Like, your attack speed is great, but it's not versatile. The low...
Yeah, they're gonna try and take down the DK, but the sharpshooter taken. Mamangaya not allowing Roger to secure the kill, and Xiao Yu, he recognized that. He'll hand the tip over.
How often do you see that? Like, a Storm willing to be selfless enough to save his other core.
Never.
Nice save onto the lull. They waste the arena here. They waste the sharpshooter RSG. Still dragging all the heroes in the world down mid to prevent that shove in. And again, they are buying space for MKS. He does have the Moonshard up, so the farm should accelerate at a quick pace, especially once he does get that Aghanim shard up. Does have some stacks to clear out as well. Now, again, the one difference you do have compared to Echo Saber Shadow Blade is that your hits are kind of fixed. Like, the damage is kind of fixed to like 200-ish in comparison to Echo Saber, giving you some strength and mana regen. You have more presence. You can use Avalanche Trust a little bit more often.
Oh, that's a nice impale. Jabon has landed. Mamangaya still going to move in. Spear is going to land on the tree line, but they are going to lose the Nyx. Now to low. He'll jump in with the fireball out. Xiao Yu needs to back off, but Exilern, he keeps going in. He's been controlled up. He goes too far. RSG, they're not ready for these big fights anymore. Like, you don't have arena up. You lose your Nyx Assassin. But Exilern, he just wants to keep going.
He understands that he has to buy that space out for the Tiny. At the same time, he's taking massive risks, not respecting the single target hold on the side of Patriots that he can't really dodge out until he has that BKB. They have great stuns on the Ogre Magi and the DK, and does line up there, punishing the Ogre extensions. We're also starting to hit critical mass on our CK. Jikroy has the Armlet and the Echo Saber up, so he does hit really damn hard. He is going for that Sanj and Yasha next. So a little bit of stat resist, a little bit more attack speed coming through. Again, just in comparison to the Moonshard of MKS, like, he does a fixed 245 damage. Compare that to CK with natural crit, with a little bit more strength on hand as well. It does feel like when Jikroy will show up, he should still be able to manage the Tiny. Like, you still need to wait for a lot more in the Tiny to be big here.
Xiao Yu, arena, no. The spear does not land on the arena. Jikroy, he's going to be fine. Delol has made the jump in. The Tiny getting caught out. Jabon still trying to fight Jikroy. In goes the Tiny, but they've lost MKS. Jikroy is going to make it all the way. And Xiao Yu, he's been a little bit off this game one, John. I've seen a couple missed spears now, and oh, poor old Roger. Not going to make it out either.
Yeah, it's been a little bit awkward. Xiao Yu, he needs to land these spears. He needs to be that setup for the team. He's got the Blink Initiation on hand.
Oh, that's the one you wanted. But do they have the follow-up now? Mamangaya, he's fine. He'll turn onto Exilern. Do they have the damage? Exilern, forced the Remnant away, is going to be fine for now. Oh, no, he's not. OIM gets him with the Illuminate.
Regeneration.
Yeah, it's not great.
is under attack.
Yeah, they're dropping a little bit here, Mike. Regen comes out as well for Mamangaya, so he gets the full reset. Not that it's fully necessary when you have the Coddle, but it's always nice. Ghost Smoke as well. Nice break from Xiaobon Bon.
Zhao Yu again being caught out on the Mars. Gonna go down. Chakra Magic. Zhao Bon Bon will at least drain the mana of Mamangaya, but that hasn't proved to stop him. LYM again just keeps refilling the mana of the Storm. Here we go again. Back to half mana. Top lane, there could be a fight to break out. Jacroy is still there. UK is around to make sure the Chaos Knight is going to be fine as they do cut off access somewhat. Jacroy still backing. MKS going to move in. They are trying for the CK, but the Sharpshooter's not going to be able to land like this. The Ogre's blocking. Jacroy, armor toggles out, trying to survive. Zhao Yu, can he reach for an arena? It doesn't seem like it. Now the blinding light. Jacroy, he's still out of there. They cannot kill him. And here comes the cavalry. Patriots are here. They'll zip in. Who do they want? They want Zhao Yu on the Mars. He's already gone. MKS will try to jump back in. Mamangaya, he's out of mana. Chakra Magic, it was on Dalol instead. Mamangaya has no mana to play with, but MKS, he has no health to pay with. Exi learn. He will at least find Mamangaya, but he has no way out. He's got no remnants. It's just too messy.
Yeah, it's really starting to stack up. Really good plays from Jacroy. Great toggles out. And does manage to save himself again. Mamangaya doesn't mind dying here, Mike. He's a Storm. He's already got triple nulls. I think his game is pretty set. Just needs a BKB and the Ags. And then you're kind of done in itemization. Maybe a refresh down the line, depending. But you are seeing that issue of the Tiny showing up. He has that Moon Shard, yes. He hits pretty fast, yes. He doesn't have a steroid on hand. He doesn't have additional strength. He doesn't have slow utility compared to the Echo Saber. Doesn't have escape utility compared to Shadow Blade. When you do go for the Moon Shard here, Mike, it is full farming. You don't actually want to fight. Maybe you join into Siege, but not to fight, because you just don't hit hard enough. Funny enough, you know, in these prolonged fights. Maybe when you get the BKB, you can leverage that attack speed. Until that point, the enemy team's not just going to allow you to stand and hit with your Moon Shard. You're always going to be a priority target, so MKS just needs that build up now. Lagging behind the Tiny and farm here. Number 1 for his team, but eclipsed by Jacroy by about 3,000 gold. Again, not a position you tend to see the Tiny at. Still has a lot of room to grow though, as long as RSG stalls out for MKS and also starts to get some steady build up on Exalern and starts to do good.
Mamangaya, nice setup. It's always on Zhao Yu. They want to make this man's life a living hell this game number 1. Zhao Bon Bon gonna try and make his way out. Exilern even trying to help. It's OIM. Oh, he gets a Spirit Vessel in time. By Zhao Bon Bon. It's gonna be a slow... Oh, maybe the Tranquils can kick in? He's fine. He'll make it.
Yep. Great use of the wand and the spike characters to take a tick away. Still some movement across the map though. A bit of a hunt up top. They want Roger, but we'll try to TP.
I can't see him. Trying to use the courier for vision, but just didn't move fast enough.
Tower is under attack.
Now you've got to blink up on MKS, so he does have that mobility to be able to initiate for his team, and it does seem like RSG desperately need MKS to get involved. They're 10k net worth behind. They need all the damage they can get right now.
Yep. Get the double damage rune up for Mamangaya. Your Tiny is just not quite in fighting form. The blink is up. That might help the cause. It still feels a bit tough without the BKB. They will go for the defense, though.
Spear out, the lol. Not the easiest target to burst down. He'll get a BKB off. Mamangaya gonna show up. Zhao Yu drops the arena. It's not gonna be enough. He's gone. Exilern. Vortex back towards the Ember. Where is he? Where's the remnants? He's still got some available, but he's too slow with the Solar Bind. He can't get out. Exilern's gone. And they'll go for more now. Patriots. Who do they find? Delol, he's got the blink back up. MKS will be the primary target if they could. Roger, he showed himself on the Phantasm Illusions. That's not the way to do it. They're going to buy back. They'll try one more time. They at least find the Storm down. Maybe it was a bait all along. Roger setting up, but they've lost 2 in the process. Exilern, he gets caught out. That's a dieback. Oh, it's a dieback, and Roger, he'll die back to burn. Bye, Roger. Oh boy, MKS, is that a rage initiation? I think it might be, John. I mean, I guess not, because the CK is worth so much gold. You may as well take it. But yeah, maybe you can't go tier 3.
Bit tough. I think you're gonna need the CK for that. Still, huge sacrifices just to try to find something in that fight for RSG. Like, yeah, you kill off the CK, you kill off the Storm. And they already got what they wanted. They secure the objective. They take the outpost. Roshan opens up now for the side of Patriots. They're gonna have Phantasm on the respawn of their CK. Straight into Rosh, not gonna take too long. RSG, this build-up on MKS has to happen, Mike. He needs the BKB. There's no way your Tiny can show up here and just expect to get 3 right clicks with his 140 damage attack speed given by Moonshard. You're just very susceptible without that BKB. They are keeping track of the lull, but Shadow Bonbon doesn't quite have the backup to deal with him yet. And the same thing goes for Exalern. He needs a BKB. These 2 big cores need that spell immunity here, Mike. Without it, the side of Patriots will constantly find those openings and just get the control off, and they've got the damage to follow through from there.
I mean, times are tough, but times aren't coming to an end yet for RSG. They're still well within this game. Just 15k net worth behind, but the comeback is certainly possible. Zhao Yu, he's had such a rough game with this Mars, John. 0-7-4. Just not catching a break whatsoever. Here we go again, MLPDotA. No hesitation. He sees the Mars and he wants the Mars. And he's got the Mars. In the meantime, Jacroy already started Roshan. And by himself, he'll take it very easily. It's no problem.
You always have that free Phantasm Illusion when you get off that Chaos Bolt, speeding up the process. And first Rosh goes away with Patriots. No contest.
Man, it's just so much damage. MLPDotA with the Witch's Blade up and the follow-up from LYM, it's just too much. They can't handle it.
Certainly can. MLPDotA is starting to hit that point, Mike, where he's fully slotted up. Ags up, then just turn it into a blessing, and you're really set. That's it. That's all you need.
Speaking of the devil, John, they've got him. MLPDotA. I feel like for the first time this game, getting caught by that Spike Carapace from Zhao Bonbon is going to get punished immediately by MKS.
Yeah, but that does reveal the position of the Tiny here, Mike. Opens up the opportunity for Patriots to siege. Yeah, they did get a bit of a shove in. They've got the Phantasm back up. Jacroy just microing to check the back line now. If they see it's open, they could try for a play, but they will play it a little bit safe for now. RSG in a position to flank from the rear, as they do have Xiao Bonbon. No Vendetta up yet. A little bit of a wait. Is forced to TP up top to deal with that shove in just from the Phantasm illusion. Just prevent any sort of split push going, but Patriots could just bide their time here. Again, wait for your Storm to be back up, and just go again. For RSG, you do have that BKB on MKS, so some of the issues are alleviated. They need to find the angle in, though, and just ensure that the chain stuns don't fly out. If Exalern still gets chained up and stunned up in the middle of these fights, it does feel like the Tiny Lone has a bit of a tough time standing against that.
They're still looking for a fight, Patriots. Still a massive lead for them. They're just going to be very wary not to throw it back the other way. Throwing them down mid lane is Zhao Yu, but can't make the jump in yet. MKS, he'll take the time to just push down the bottom tier 2 tower. Zip in though, MLPDotA, the lol, both in. Bushwhack, only going to catch one. MKS though, he'll be able to TP with the BKB. They don't have the CK for the right click damage. Jacroy, he's focused on just keeping that farm going. Zhao Bonbon, he was spotted. MLPDotA does have the Vortex. So at least find the Nyx.
Under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Not the biggest kill in the world. Jacroy trying to hunt top, can't really pin down Exalern by himself. Still, should be an opening now for Patriots to start to consider that push. They've got the creep wave coming up. Aegis still stands for 2.5 minutes. Jacroy is almost at the heart, Mike. I don't know how you kill this guy off once that part does come into his inventory. He is just waiting for one part since a courier back, realizing it was flying towards him. And that's the heart. So CK with a heart. You talk about Tiny's HP, Mike. CK with the armlet on, it's going to look just as hilarious here.
Oh, here we go. Come in, Jacroy. Say thank you very much. Now I have 4.3k HP. Good luck. Black Dragon as well from the Lol. Xiao Yu will jump in. There's just Spear out, but immediately stunned up. Xiao Bonbon trying to follow up here onto the CK. He has lost half his HP, but keep in mind, he has the Aegis, and you've got to get through all of it at the same time as Mamang Daya. Again onto XE Learn. They just keep doing it to him. Zip right forward, get in the Vortex, and it's just that easy.
Dire's
Without a BKB up XE Learn, he has not been able to do much this game after the laning stage. And Patriots suddenly 1 racks ahead. Probably could stick around for another.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Gonna go do that. MKS just spent his time pushing in bot, so he's not able to contribute with his BKB and Crystallis. And he's not there for the defense. He needs to show up. He's looking for that split push opportunity, that rat opportunity to present itself, but Patriots are just making such good work of this high ground here.
Yeah, T3 tower, mid lane going to be targeted. Jacroy. Yeah, a pretty easy time for him. XE Learn will be back up in 5, so they have the opportunity to try and fight back. They are going to try now. With the toss back, Xiao Yu, maybe hoping for a spear into the fountain, is not going to get it. MKS, he's still going to try for the fight. Jacroy, he'll man up. He's got the Aegis. He's happy to fight this one out, but he has lost his first life. That'll be 1 time. But without the BKBs, can you get him the 2nd time? Bushwhacker's there, but the follow-up is coming. XE Learn, he'll pop his own BKB. Keep trying to fight. MKS is in on Jacroy. He's just too tanky. Mamang Daya onto the Tiny. They've got him down. Jacroy still surviving. Glimmer Cape, armlet toggles. He'll make it through the tier 4 towers. He is not going down. He'll just make it all the way as he even tips MKS. I think GG has to be called here. And if it isn't, Patriots are going right for the jugular anyway.
Dire's middle barracks.
Going straight for it, doesn't take too long. They're gonna have Phantasm in a few seconds to speed up that siege. And RSG, again, they had the Tiny, they went for the Moonshard build, they do call the GG. They had this really good draft that can scale up, but the Moonshard build up, I think, just took away from the early presence of the Tiny. Yes, MKS could farm, but he didn't just sit back and farm there. He was opting to instead join in these early fights and try to use that attack speed